Hello friends, welcome back to this video on analog communication. In this video, we are going to discuss a new type of demodulator of FM modulated signal, which is zero crossing detector. Till now, we have discussed a lot of type of FM demodulators which were complex and which were having wide limitations as well. So now we are presenting you another type of detector which can be implemented using IC technology as well. So now, if I talk about zero crossing detector, when you hear this name, you will be saying that it is calculating how many times the signal has crossed the zero value. So yes, it finds out how many times the signal or the FM modulated signal has crossed the zero value. So that is useful information for us, and with the help of this information I can find out what was my message signal. So let's find out how we'll be doing this. So here I have already told you it's a zero crossing detector which calculates how many times the signal has crossed the zero value. So if I talk about its circuit resembles that of a comparator. So if I take a comparator and I make the reference voltage 0, that time it will act as a zero crossing detector. So we'll be understanding with the circuit only how it is working as a zero crossing detector. Actually it is a comparator only. So the circuit is like this. Here at the negative terminal I have supplied the input voltage. So the input voltage is my modulated signal. So MT is supplied at the negative terminal and the positive terminal is grounded. So here I have made reference voltage to be 0. So whenever I'll take the reference voltage to be 0, that time it will be acting as a comparator with 0 reference voltage. So here I have taken R1 as a resistor also. So this resistor will be acting as an offset detector, and we have used two diodes. So these diodes are used as a protective diode or protection diodes, so that the current will not go up to a very high level and it will not destroy the op-amp circuit. So now here we have supplied the minus VE voltage and plus voltage. These are the saturation voltages, and now here from the load resistance I am calculating the output voltage. So let's consider the waveforms. With the help of waveform, we'll be trying to understand how this circuit is working. So now this is my input waveform. So you can see I have a constant amplitude. So I have taken the amplitude to be constant at Vm and minus Vm, which is the amplitude of the carrier signal. So whatever the amplitude of the carrier signal was, I have taken it as the amplitude of the waveform. Now you can see the waveform is having different frequencies. Here it has a different frequency and here it is having a different frequency. You can see at this point I am having a higher frequency, at this point I am having a lower frequency. So now if this signal is fed to this input, so now here I am providing this signal at the input. So what would happen? So here the positive terminal is grounded, and at the negative terminal if I have this positive side. So let's suppose whenever I have this positive side at the input, so at the positive I was having 0 and at the negative I was having Vm. So I'll be having negative Vm supplied here. So according to that I'll be producing the negative saturation voltage at the output. So now if I talk about this portion, so whenever I am talking about this portion, now my voltage at this terminal is negative Vm and voltage at positive terminal it is already grounded. So here I'll be taking 0 minus of Vm. So it will be positive Vm. So whenever positive Vm is supplied, I'll be getting positive saturation voltage as the output. So now here what we understood, whenever we are supplying the positive voltage, the output would be negative saturation voltage, and whenever we are supplying the negative voltage of the FM wave, so the output would be the positive saturation voltage. So now I hope you understood how this waveform came out. So now how it is calculating the number of zero crossing? So whenever we have a zero crossing, so let's suppose here we have and here we have a zero crossing. So now whenever we have a zero crossing, the value is changing from minus Vset to plus Vset or vice versa. So according to the number of zero crossing, I am having the number of pulses. So if I am considering this to be one pulse, so according to the number of zero crossing, I'll be having the number of pulses. If I have higher number of zero crossing, so here I'll be having higher number of zero crossing. So here I'll be having more number of pulses. So here I am getting the number of pulses in accordance to the zero crossing. So zero crossing was in accordance to the message signal. Whenever I have high message signal, there will be high frequency and high number of zero crossing. Whenever I have less value of the input signal, so there will be less frequency. So here we have less frequency and there will be less zero crossing. So now if I am observing a interval t, so if I am taking an interval t and if I found out that n is the number of zero crossings in the interval t, so if I found out the time between the adjacent zero crossing, so the time would be the total time divided by the number of zero crossings. So the time between, the average time between adjacent zero crossing is delta t, which came out to be total time divided by the number of zero crossings. So how much I'll be taking this total time? So the total time or the interval over which I will see this, it will have this relation. So now 1 upon fc is less than t, is less than, it's very less than equal to 1 upon the bandwidth of the message signal. So I have to observe the signal over the time which is greater than 1 upon frequency of the carrier and it is very much less than 1 upon bandwidth of the message signal. So that time only I can consider the total number of zero crossings which have come are good number of zero crossing, otherwise it will give me some error output. So now if I talk about the instantaneous frequency, so the instantaneous frequency is given by 1 upon 2 into delta time. So here we have found out this delta t. When I put this delta t here, I'll be having n naught upon 2t. So now I can say the instantaneous frequency of this output pulse vary with the number of zero crossings. So I already told you n naught is varying with respect to the message signal. Whenever I have the higher value of message signal, we'll be having more zero crossings. So now whenever I'll find out n naught, it is directly proportional to my message signal. From the n naught I can easily find out my message signal. So let's understand how from the n naught I can find out my message signal. So this is the block diagram, the total block diagram of the all of the components which are required to find out the output message signal. So here I have supplied the Yin, which is again my modulated signal. This is FM modulated signal. It is passed to the zero crossing detector. I hope now you have imagined the circuit of the zero crossing detector. Now here we have the pulse generator. The pulse generator is supplied to the low pass filter. So here you can see I have generated a pulse which is supplied to the low pass filter, and low pass filter is acting as an integrator. So whenever integrator is high amplitude, integrator is providing high amplitude whenever we have denser pulses, and whenever we have rarer pulses, so here we have rarer pulses and here we have denser pulses. So I am representing rarer pulses by R and the denser pulses by D. So now what would be the output signal? So the output signal would be, amplitude would be high at denser pulse. So here the amplitude would be high and at the rarer pulse the amplitude would be low. So now if I draw the pulse, it would be like this. So if I draw the FM modulated signal of this message, so it would be resembling like this. So now I hope you can understand that how from this block diagram I can find out my message signal. So now this message signal which came out is shifted in the time domain. So the DC block is acting as a DC shifting circuit, so it can shift the message signal from higher value to the 0 axis. So I'll be getting output here at the 0 axis. So it's just like a clamper circuit. So I'll be writing it here. So it is acting as a clamper circuit which is shifting the signal from upside to the downside or downside to the upside to find it on the 0 axis. So now if I have this circuit diagram, so now here we have the problem of noise. So how the noise plays its role in this circuit. So whenever we have noise at the 0 crossing, the amplitude would be high, and instead of the pulse it will give me the higher or the lower value. So whenever we have noise, the amplitude will shift and the pulse will shift, and maybe the 0 crossings will shift, and the information is present in the 0 crossings only. So we need to tackle the problem of noise very carefully. So we can tackle the noise problem with the use of transistor in the circuit. So we were having this 0 crossing detector, and here I have placed this transistor. So I hope you remember that transistor is an inverting circuit. So here I have placed my inputs at the positive terminal. So now here I was supplying the input at the negative terminal of the op-amp, but here I am supplying my input at the positive terminal. It is because I have already added the transistor which is a inverting device. So whatever the output will be having, the transistor will be inverting it. So to get the same output as we got here, we'll be supplying our voltage to the positive terminal here. So we have supplied our voltage to the positive terminal, the other terminal is grounded. So here we'll be having the positive output on the positive input voltage. So I have written it here. So whenever we have the positive input, V in positive, which implies the output would be positive. So V in positive means the difference would be V in minus 0, which is positive when this is positive. So now when this is positive, this output voltage would be positive. So when this is positive, this base is given the voltage. So now here this transistor would be enabled. So now the output would be inverted. So whenever the transistor starts working, it will start inverting the output. So whenever the transistor is on, the output would be low. So now let's consider my V in is now negative. So whenever V in is negative, so negative minus 0 is negative. So output is negative. So here I have written it, the V out is negative. So whenever V out is negative, negative voltage is supplied to the base. So the transistor will be in the off state. So I'll be getting the output which is high. So now I hope you understood how this circuit is working. So here this circuit is in the form of 8-pin IC. So it is in the form of integrated circuit. Till now I was saying that all of the FM demodulators were not in the form of ICs, but this is the circuit which is solving all the limitations of the previous circuit. So now here this can be manufactured in the form of IC, and it is also not affected by the noise as well. So here I'll be stopping my discussion on the zero crossing detector. I hope you understood each and everything about zero crossing detector. If not, if you still have any doubt, you can put the doubt in the comment box and I'll try to resolve it as soon as possible. I hope you like this video. If you like it, share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and push the like button. Thank you.